Hi, this is Moloko, live from the Musikmesse 2013. We are here at the booth of SPL. With me is BJ. BJ, would you like to tell us some amazing discoveries?
It's a world full of amazing discoveries. We have two new products this year. And both of them are rather new for SPL, because SPL has always been rather famous for analog devices, and now we have stepped into the digital world. We've made two interfaces, one mid-priced and one high-priced interface. So we're trying to cover the whole market, project studios and also high-end studios. This is for the project studio, which is basically a 4-channel microphone and line preamp interface, 4 in, 4 out, with a monitor section combined. So basically this can be the heart of your little project studio, or maybe even a semi-professional studio. It's very simply structured. You have 2 microphone preamps, you have 2 line gains. You can plug in the lines in the front or in the back. And I'm going to turn this around for the camera. The back is very interesting here. You start here with the microphone inputs. Of course, they both have 48 volts phantom power and a high pass filter. You have 4 line inputs here. Then you can plug in external sources if you want to have a reference, if you want to plug in a CD player, or even in a mini jack here you can plug in your iPod. Then of course you have the main speaker outs for your main monitors, and a secondary monitor set which you can switch to. And that comes, which I find very useful, with 2 little trim buttons or wheels, so that if you have 2 pairs of monitor speakers that operate at a different level, you can trim them so that your ears don't get blown away every time you switch between them. Then of course there's the essential MIDI in and out, which is very important for any interface, an SPDIF for digital in and digital out, and of course the USB connector, which at the moment it's not connected because we're demonstrating this not with sound. And then in the front, of course, you have the gains here. You can select which are active or not. 1 and 2 are just in stereo. 3 and 4 you can also make mono. And then here you have the returns from your DAW. You can bring in 2 mixes. One is the headphone mix for the artist you're recording, and one is your own. You can even bring those into the monitor to listen to what they're listening to, and you can activate the 3 external sources if you want to listen to references or whatever else you have recorded. And then of course you have 2 separate headphone volume controls. Headphones go up in the front, and you have a cross feed between listening only to the DAW return or directly to your input section. So if you bring it to the middle, you have a 1-to-1 ratio. You're listening absolutely latency-free to your inputs and to what comes back as the mix, recording mix from your DAW. And of course there's a monitor volume control, and that's pretty much the device. I think we're shipping it in July. I think we're aiming for July. Okay. And the suggested retail price will be at 549 euros, which I think is going to be around $4.99 street price. One thing I would like to mention though is these 2 microphone preamps here are the exact preamps that we're using in our very high quality gain stations. So this of course is the quality that you guys are used to from SPL. And the second thing I would like to show you, let's try to make this work so we can, if you follow me, I'm going to take the cable here, or you can take it. Let's go over to our second workstation. And here, there's only 1 chair. Well, I'll be sitting here alone. It's the Madison. It's a little word game, comes from MADI. It's a MADI interface, 16 inputs, 16 outputs. At the moment, things are blinking crazily because they're in the wrong setting, because somebody came here and just pressed buttons. Oh, this is what it is now. You have all the MADI settings that you need to do. Of course, you have your frequency selector, which I'm not going to change now because Pro Tools is going to crash then. You can go from 44.1 all the way up to 192 kilohertz. You can select which clock you're sending, internal clock, word clock, or MADI clock. And then of course you can, there's a selector for how hot you bring the signal into the converters. And you can cascade 4 of them together in order to end up with 64 tracks in and 64 tracks out. And here you can then select, this is going to be device number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And at the moment, we're very proud of this because we believe that we have found the best converters available on the market at the moment. And so it, of course, will have to stand the test of time. But we're very confident that this is a product that will compete with the very, very, very high-end interfaces that the absolute top-notch pro studios use at the moment. And we're extremely excited about this.
And what's the pricing for this?
We're also aiming for a release date at around July, maybe early August. And I believe the suggested retail price on this one is around $1,500. And so naturally this will probably bring it down to $1,250, $1,300, or it depends on who the dealer is and who the distributor is, you know, these things. You should definitely check this out because this is going to be one fantastic. I've heard it and it's fantastic.
Okay.
Thanks for coming. Have a great time at the Messe. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks you.
Well, it's a pleasure. You're welcome.
My logo.